There he is. There he is.
Hey.
Hey, Kyle. Nice to meet
Katie.
you.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you in, what is it Calgary or?
Oh, I'm in Edmonton, so just north of Calgary.
Okay.
Are you in Denver or in Colorado somewhere?
Yeah, Denver. Yep.
Cool.
All right, guys. So basically, we're already kind of rolling. The Patreon people are going to see this because I have to hit record right away. Now, because there's three of us, this is exciting that there's three hosts. I'm actually really excited for this. But because of that Zoom, it's still the best software, but it costs like $25 or $30 a month for the non-free Zoom. So what will happen is every 40 minutes, we're going to have to pause. I'll pause the recording, so our listeners will be none the wiser. But for us hosts, we're going to have to just do the re-invite process again, rejoin, and just pick up where we left off. It's a kind of pain in the butt, unless, Kyle, you're willing to shell out the fee a month for Zoom?
No.
Okay,
but
so
I've done a lot of this stuff during the pandemic when it was really bad. We actually did karate over Zoom, and it was an hour and a half. So we had to stop and start, and it only takes a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, so even the instructor didn't have a paid account?
Well, he eventually got one for free because he was a nonprofit. So if you want to register as a nonprofit, then you might be able to do something like that.
I wonder, can you do that as a podcast? Oh, I'll look into it. Sure, why not? Couldn't hurt.
Educational counts as nonprofit, I think.
You probably have to have like a 501, like some sort of filing, like something. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I can't just lie to them.
Like maybe some sort of document to prove that you're like registered as a nonprofit somewhere.
Well, I want to say, first off, Katie did a great job. We're going to read some of the comments on air here of how you did. Yeah. Well, I had to delete the ones where they said females are the worst. They don't know what they're talking about. Why would you ever have a female on your podcast? So those ones
no.
So I'll spare you those ones.
No.
But then on the flip side, people were saying, Katie and Kyle, they're much better podcasters. They know much more about the films than I do. So I'm really conflicted, whose advice to follow here. So with that, we'll cue the music.
Eyes wide open under the sunlight. Welcome to this place. I give you everything with arms wide open. With arms wide open.
We're going to go into a couple of comments here on Patreon. The people on Patreon, they've already seen the live recording. They've already heard the early audio edit. And the time of this recording, the general masses, the little peons who just usurp our free feed, they're here. Kyle always gets so worried about that. So when you're on Patreon and stuff, you can kind of get the immediate next recording readings, if that makes sense. That's the real-time recordings, if you want to get into that. The Patreon people, they enjoy that. So here's some comments. You ready, Katie?
Yeah.
I did have them queued up. I'm somewhat of a professional because I wanted to save time, but...
Well, you can read the ones where they say how terrible females are, too. That won't bother me.
Unfortunately, that was just a joke. There was no...
Oh.
I'll send one in under a pseudonym just to stir the pot a little. Katie, how do you pronounce your surname?
Geilenkirchen?
Geilenkirchen. Okay, cool. I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I asked her the same question, and I forgot how to... I was like, I'm not going to bring it up again, because she already told me. Thank you, Kyle. It actually looks just like it looks, Geilenkirchen.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so here we go. So this is from Melissa Nolman. She's one of our patrons. She's very active on our board on Facebook, and she's active on the Patreon feed. She said, great episode. So she's referring to episode 5, Katie's first episode. Great episode, and welcome to Katie. You did a great job, she said. It's refreshing to hear a female's take. And this is great coming from a female listener. She's one of our 2, so this is good. So 50% of our female listeners have responded to your...
Good odds.
She goes on to say, my friend and families think I'm crazy, like Melissa's saying this, that I'm crazy weird because I love Stallone and Rocky so much. So it's nice to hear that I'm not the only one out there, female, I guess she's referring to. And I agree, Rocky is so cute in those glasses. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
Cameron, one of our top patrons, he said, they're talking about the live video one here. Cameron says, just finished watching the feed. Welcome, Katie. Really enjoyed hearing your perspective. Strong debut, I must say. He's pleased you accepted Ryan's proposal at the end. Look forward to future installments. Kyle, I proposed to her. It was a stupid bit, but it was on the fly bit. She did great for her first, what do you call, improv
Hey, wait
bit.
a minute. Didn't she propose to me earlier also?
Hey, don't worry about that. This is an open relationship, okay?
He took me to the zoo. Did he take you to the zoo?
Did you?
Okay, well, yeah, let's move on. Okay, so now this is kind of interesting. So some of the people on our Patreon, they like the live feed stuff like we're doing now. And some people not only like that, but they also listen to the audio edit that I do to compare, which is weird. And Cameron is one of those nuts. So Cameron goes on to say, just finished listening to the edit. Great job. Does tighten it up, and I must say, was expecting to remember chunks from the video to the cut, but didn't really notice much. But still, you took out 20 minutes worth of audio. That's sometimes why I wonder why I edit and take all that time, because actually this is kind of an example where Cameron's like, hey, it was a good edit, but I don't really know where you took stuff out. 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm torn
20
because...
minutes. Yeah,
20
I mean,
minutes.
you do a good job, but yeah, I wouldn't have thought it was 20 minutes either.
I'm always surprised at the end of my edit. I'll be like, I took out 20 minutes of, well, it's ahs.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I have the tendency, I find this when I listen to myself, and I know all of your tics too, by the way. Kyle, I know his tics. Because I hear them again. Oh, trust me, you have them. Well, I don't want to say. I actually don't want to say it because then you'll be self-conscious when you talk. I just want you to talk naturally. I actually won't even say what they are, but everyone has them. And one of mine is I actually repeat things. I'll say, I don't know, there's a term for it, but I'll say the apple in the cart was red. The cart had a red apple. I'll do that sometimes. I just said that, but I will say it again, and it's all.
I think that's a chiasm.
Is that what that's called?
Chiasmus.
Oof, I don't know. It sounds smart.
I do that also, and I notice it about myself. So now I'm going to notice it even more.
And Katie, for your audio edit, what I did is I changed the timbre on your voice to make you sound higher.
Oh.
That was a joke before the recording started, just so people know. She brought up that she feels her voice is too low. Cameron goes on to say, one of the emails from the previous episode talked about and this is for all of us to discuss here. One of the emails from the previous episode talked about alternate realities and if a match went the other way. And this is kind of a funny one, but it'd be an interesting one to discuss. He says, how about if Paulie beat Rocky in the parking garage? I never even thought about that fight.
That would be huge because, Rocky probably would have forgiven him, but if he didn't, then Paulie wouldn't have lived with him, and then the tax extension letter wouldn't have happened, and Rocky might not have lost all his money. It's the movement of the butterfly wings can cause a hurricane type of thing.
He didn't even land a single I can't even allow my brain to go there because it's so far-fetched.
It's just funny. I think he was just trying to be funny. It is funny.
Right.
I didn't even think. If Paulie just lands one clean shot on Rocky, he just floors him.
Now we have a cigar smoking, wife beater wearing, beer gut belly fighter in the ring.
All Paulie wanted was to have a date with Adrian. That's a weird relationship, man. So he says that if Paulie beat up Rocky, would the watch still be busted? It cracks me up when you guys say that. Busted. Yeah. So those are our Patreon comments. We've also had a few on the Facebook wall. I won't repeat them, but yeah, Katie, you came in good. It's all good.
All right. Well, I've kept my job for one more week.
One more week, at least. We did get one email from Hector, our favorite wrestler. He says, Ryan and Kyle, this, of course, you'll be in the email soon, Katie. The way it works, as you know, we do these recordings kind of a bit ahead of time. So,
yeah.
Again, if you're not a Patreon, your emails will seem like it takes forever because it's kind of true because the way we record. Anyways, he goes, Ryan and Kyle, thank you very much. What both of you say, so he's referring to, and I'll just say it again, that we rightfully said great things about Hector, just being a great guy and a great father and husband and a great hard worker. And he goes, thank you very much, guys. What both of you said truly uplifted me and also humbled me, as I know myself and know I don't measure up to how you described me. Well, anyone that says that, it's good. And so he's a humble guy. That's what humble guys do. Thank you, he says. And he goes, Kyle, I would be honored to go to one of your martial art exhibitions when you come down here to Los Angeles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'd be afraid for him to watch that because he'd be embarrassed, but Yeah, hopefully we could go to Tijuana after.
Okay, well, he's talking about that next.
Okay.
He says he goes in capital letters, but I will not go to Tijuana.
No, what?
Yeah, he says, I don't know if you've seen this little film called Rambo Last Blood, but things don't turn out so good. You think you're going to have a good time, reconnect with old friends and relatives, maybe have a few drinks, dance a little, and then wham, you wake up in a little room, don't know where you're at, you're sore in places you shouldn't be. It's just not as it's just not as fun as it sounds. But then he goes on to say, jokes aside, even guys get drugged. A decade ago, I was talking it up with a girl. We planned on having some fun later. And as she went to the ladies' room, a gay friend came over to me and told me he overheard the girl I was talking to. She and another man were planning to slip something into my drink and switch places once we were at the hotel room. It's a bit of a longer story, he says, but I've escaped by the skin of my teeth way too many times there. Anyways, thanks again, guys. I hope you guys stay safe. Can't wait for the next episode. He goes, I'm trying to watch along with you guys. I'm enjoying the Patreon feed and seeing the unedited episode and keep punching. Okay, so Hector's one of the crazy guys, too. Okay. Well, there you go. It's a nice email from Hector. Thanks, brother.
If I go to Tijuana, the chance of me getting roofied is not zero.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be the only chance I get lucky in Tijuana. Who knows? Last thing, if you want to join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, you get all the live feeds, you get early releases, you get to see the movie as we talk to the movie, and you also help pay for the feed to get the show out there. And we did get one new Patreon, and that was Paul Scheibner. So, Paul, thank you so much for being a Patreon. We do thank you. It's very kind of you. That's it. That's it for, what do you call it, housekeeping, guys. That was pretty quick.
I have an item, actually.
Ooh.
Something arrived. A guest arrived. I have now in my possession a replica of the Rocky statue.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. You did mention this in a neat Facebook message to me that you knew about this because of the interview with Robin.
I did not know they existed, and actually her, Ms. Schomburg. So it came in like 2 days or something because she lives like an hour from me.
Oh.
So
She was so nice with her time and her stories about the statue. It's funny, before we actually interviewed her, this was the early days of her podcast, I remember thinking with Ruben, I was like, I don't think she's going to really have much to say. I mean, she's the daughter of her dad who does the statue. She runs it, but she was very giving of her stories, and she had a lot of great stories. And I think my favorite story from her was just when she talked about being a 14-year-old girl and Stallone going to the house to model.
I can't even imagine. I being even now. I mean, I can't see. I'm fumbling over my words now. I can't even get the words out how excited I would be in that situation.
Can you imagine? I even said to her, how did she like it? She didn't mind. She didn't want to elaborate, but she didn't mind.
Well, that was in the early to mid 80s when he was like near perfection, you know.
2% body fat or whatever. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Can you imagine being 14 and having Sly in 83 come to your house to pose for your dad? Just like you said, he stood there for hours. He would stand there for the sculpting. It's kind of cool. Yeah, so for our Patreon, you're gonna have to pay up to see the statue. It's really cool, but we're talking about those mini statues that you can get. Was it 15 inches or something like that?
12 inches.
12 inches.
Yeah.
All right, no jokes, Kyle. Okay, so
I really wanted to. I'm like, I'm not going to do it.
you literally can't say anything like 12 inches or under with guys without some sort of joke. It's ridiculous.
Well, there are 20-inch ones available, or there used to be.
Statues we're talking about? Wow, Katie.
Well, sometimes, more isn't better.
All right, let's get into it. The movie. So we're at the scene now. Kyle, Kyle, you missed. If there was a week that you got to miss, you missed a good one. Because, Kyle, anything you want to mention about the date that they had, their first date? We're talking about Adonis and, of course, Bianca's first date.
Oh, your favorite person, Bianca. Shoot, I'm so sad I missed that. I'm still working on that deck, by the way. It's still not done. So,
jeez, I'm sorry. I feel for you, man.
It's one problem after the other.
Oof.
But, I don't know. They had their date.
Do you remember the part in the movie where she talked about Johns?
Yeah. Is that real?
It's a Philadelphia slang term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Trying to think back to that scene. I recall that's when she talks about her hearing issues and how she'll eventually not be able to hear. And then there was the sign language for bullshit.
Right. Oh, you remember it better than I did without the rewatch. Yeah. That's about it. And there was a little bit of similarity. Of course, this is the similarity between Rocky and Adrian's kind of first date because they talk about their past, meaning like, well, it's just common for a date, of course. But the idea is Rocky and Adrian remember in their very beautiful first date talking about why do you fight, and he had to use his body because he didn't have much of a brain, and she had to use her brain because she didn't have much of a body. And that kind of happened with this because she actually asked him, ironically, it was kind of flipped because she goes, why are you a fighter? Because you don't look tough. You don't look street tough. So she kind of flipped it on him saying, I can understand why you'd fight because you have a body, but she kind of ragged on Adonis a little bit for not having what she considered the toughness of a look to him to be a fighter.
Well, that's a common criticism of him. Everyone says, look, you're not in this life. You don't need to do this. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't speak like a fighter. He doesn't have, I guess, that countenance or whatever that a fighter would have. And so I wonder if that affects him at all, where it's like everyone thinks he's a pretender. He left out a very important part about his past, and that he's Apollo Creed's son, right? Sure. I think he says there that his father was a fighter, but there's that lie of omission.
No, Kyle's right. I mean, he alludes to it. And I sort of thought that she was starting to like think about it or pick up on it. And then in the scene that we'll watch, I think the wheels continue to spin. Adonis does say something about the thing that he's trying to overcome is he doesn't want people to perceive him as being a fake Creed is the like term he uses. And then we'll see a little bit of that later in the movie.
Good stuff. Okay, so now we're going to move into the next scene. And this is an interesting shot here for our non-viewers. Of course, Rocky with that big broad shoulder saunter walk. He's going to the graveyard, the gravesite of Adrian. I'm not trying to get, what's the word I'm looking for, somber or morbid here. How often, and maybe you do, I don't know, but we'll grieve in different ways, but how often would you visit a grave of a loved one? Think of whoever the closest person is in your life, and that person's gravesite was only a mile away. How often would you go? Would you go Rocky often or Paulie often?
I would go Paulie often. That's not the person. They are not there. If you want to talk to the person, you can have a conversation with them at any point.
Good point.
You don't have to go to a cemetery. I mean, if we're to believe that these guys are like religious or Catholic in any way, then the cemetery apparently is a big deal. And so he seems to go several times a week, if not every day.
Yeah, do we know? Is it daily?
I think they said something along the lines of every day. Mm-hmm. I have one relative that I really miss, that I visit their gravesite, I guess, regularly. And I probably do it once a year.
That's fair. You, the death anniversary or something like that, or close to it.
Yeah, something like that. It's close to winter time. Sometimes I'll go earlier just so I can find it.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, man, that's not your grave.
Every day is weird, but that might be his time. It's a very serene, almost place. Like, no one else is there. You hear birds. It's away from probably the hectic and craziness of the restaurant and everything else that's going on. And I'm sure whenever he goes out on the street, people approach him all the time. And so this is maybe his time to like meditate or kind of just have some time to himself and to think about Adrian. And he obviously doesn't want to move on. I feel like he's forcing himself not to move on, which is fine, but
this is his habit now. Like, it's just his part of his daily ritual, or his, however often his ritual. He has the chair there. He has the paper. What else is he going to do? I mean, this is his life now.
I just thought of something funny. Sorry, you mentioned the chair. I got a scene for Creed Part 3. So Rocky's going to the gravesite, right? And then the chair's not there. It's missing. He's looking all around. He's angry. He's like, where's the chair? Where's the chair? I've got the chair, meatball. And there's Federlips comes behind him. I don't sweat you, meatball. And he hits him with the chair.
Break you in half like this.
Oh my God. Only Paulie says, I don't sweat you. Yeah.
That's the double hit, because he's not only is he hitting Adrian's death chair, but he's also quoting the dead Paulie line.
What if he hit Paulie's gravestone with that chair? It's like revenge or something like that.
And then he looks at the head sword and goes, sorry, Rocky, it's busted.
God, you guys.
They should have like a drinking game whenever Ryan says it's busted, you take a shot.
Oh, well, I have some wine here, so I'll take a drink.
Oh, man,
I have
good. Oh, I'm the idiot, apparently. Okay. I got water.
I think it's bad luck to toast or whatnot with water.
I didn't toast. I just mentioned I had water.
True.
I just mentioned. This show doesn't need any more bad luck.
I want to point out something, too, about the graveyard scene quick. I think the time of year kind of makes it seem more gloomy, too, because like you don't have the leaves on the trees, but you also don't have the white snow, which can make something look peaceful. Mm-hmm. It's that weird time where, like, the grass is dead, and I'm guessing it's springtime since you don't see leaves. Like, it's early spring, like winter, the snow's melted, but it hasn't greened up yet, so it's that nasty, crappy time. So it makes the graveyard a little more depressing, too. So it's a good choice of time to film that, I think.
Awesome. Good thoughts. And now I do like the scene here, the way he saunters and walks. And speaking of Last Blood, for those who've seen it, there's a scene in Last Blood where he walks through the door of his house and the same kind of saunter. It's the same shot almost of him kind of like big man sauntering through the door. I don't know why it reminded me of that when I saw that, but for those who are seeing this scene right now, they'll know what I'm talking about. You hear that soundtrack there of the Adrian theme?
Okay. Here we go, Paulie. Happy birthday, my friend. I didn't forget you. Your favorite. Miss you, pal. Go, Adrian, my darling. That's the best.
Okay, so he said happy birthday to Paulie. Now we can actually get a date. Do you remember what his date was for his birthday?
I couldn't see it.
It's 1940 is the year, I'm pretty sure.
I'd have to zoom in. I couldn't see what it said. But it was the first time we were hearing the Rocky music, yeah.
He was born November 19th.
November.
Okay.
Well, spring or fall. Yeah, either way, Kyle. Yeah.
Just before snowfall. Yeah. East Coast.
Yeah.
There's no snow yet, but it's a crisp morning. Things are dead and dry and looks cool. Yeah, that's actually, you described the season perfectly, and they hit the nail on the head for that. So for those nerds like us, I had to look it up. I didn't know his exact birthday.
I find something a little odd about the gravestones. So you have Adrian's there, which has been there for a while. It has some like moss on it. And then Paulie's is directly beside it. And normally, if your spouse dies, you'll often want to be beside them.
Yeah. Paulie got his wish.
But now Paulie's beside her. I guess there's some room there on the right where you can squeeze in. But I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Paulie will be cucking for eternity.
Oh, Jesus.
What was his whiskey brand? What is that?
Wild Turkey, is it?
I thought it was like something rose. Because it has like the 3 flowers on it.
Oh, I thought yeah, okay.
Which I don't recognize that brand, if that's even a thing.
We saw it in, what scene? We see it in, what's it called? We see it in Rocky 1 when he's sitting at the couch or something. He's holding that. Isn't that when we see it?
Yeah, well, he, right before Rocky goes into the meat house, before he gets interviewed, hitting the meat, he grabs Paulie by the cuff of his shirt. Rocky walks back in. And then Paulie takes a drink out of his flask, which is in a bag, before he follows Rocky in. And then there's the hitting the meat scene.
That's right. So the 4 roses.
That goes on TV.
4 roses.
Oh.
I wonder if it must be a real drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So they are next to each other, Paulie and Adrian. And the tombstone, I know you guys can't see it. Yeah, I know you guys can't see it maybe, but it says November 19th. So they got the detail on the gravestone. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what the year is, or did you guys already talk about the year he was supposed to have died? It says February 22nd, but Rocky's leg is over the year in this scene.
Okay, so 4 Roses is real.
I've never had it.
Yeah, same. I kind of want to try it now, but
I know. I'm going to totally try it now. It's probably terrible. It's probably like the worst.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's got some awards, although that doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's Kentucky bourbon.
Ooh, I like bourbon. Okay.
And it was introduced in 1888. But there's lots of different kinds, too.
2012, he might have passed away.
Okay.
In the movie
So just
world.
a couple years ago.
And we said it was pancreatic cancer, didn't we, Kyle?
I think so, yeah.
How did you learn that? Where did that come up?
Because he's a hardcore alcoholic. I don't know. I think we just assumed.
That would have been
sorry.
liver
Oh,
or
yeah, that's right.
kidney or liver or something, yeah.
Okay. He's going to sit down. He's going to have a conversation with Adrian. So he calls her darling, which was sweet. Let's listen to that.
Oh, Adrian, my darling. Best of the best.
Best of the best, he said there.
Okay, Adrian, God. It's getting harder to walk up this hill. What does that mean? Anyway, it's a good day today. It's a good day. Got no problems. Bills are paid. The only thing is that it's tough to sleep at night. Sometimes my back, no matter what you do, it catches up to you. Anyway, shall we see what's new in the world today?
But it's really cute there. He's talking about he's having a hard time sleeping because of his back and time catches up to you. But we get a little hint here, and I didn't catch it till this conversation right now. He said it's getting harder to walk up that hill. And we know that he's older, but this guy is not your average 70-year-old, okay? He did say he's getting harder to walk up that hill, but he goes, I wonder what that means. I think his body's breaking down with cancer right now.
Oh, yeah.
Very subtle foreshadowing.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
because he mentions it's getting hard to walk up that hill, and we're all thinking because you're older. But
Yeah.
he looks quizzical about it. I don't know, what does that mean? Because he understands aging. It's not like he's an idiot about aging. Because he just said there, like, my back's hurting. These things catch up to you. He mentioned that he's fatigued walking that short distance up the hill.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did not catch that.
Okay, so you were saying that you've been watching This Is Us. Please tell.
So Kyle Ryan mentioned, we were talking about, I don't know if it's Milo or Milo Ventimiglia.
Milo. It's Milo Ventimiglia.
Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he's the perfect Rocky Jr.
Oh, yeah. I think Ryan and I were saying that
Yeah.
earlier.
Ryan had asked if I found him attractive, and of course he's yes, of course.
Yeah.
And then he had recommended that I watch This Is Us, the TV show, because he's one of the stars in it. I have been watching it. I think I'm on like episode 4, and it is really, really good. Really well-developed characters.
It's very good. That's our recommendation. This Is Us is one of our sponsors, so that's a great segue into our first ad.
I know it. I don't think even in Rocky Balboa, I didn't notice because you guys had talked about the casting was so good because Milo's mouth is just naturally like Sly's, but you really see it in the show. This Is Us.
I knew him first from the show Heroes, and then I think it was around then. It was, if not, it was like the same time Rocky 6 came out and Heroes was out around that same time.
Well, you didn't know him from Gilmore Girls, Ryan?
Actually, I didn't. I know you did.
What? You don't watch Gilmore Girls?
Now you have to watch Gilmore Girls, Katie.
I've never seen it, but I don't know if I'll ever watch it, unfortunately.
What kind of woman are you? We got to get a new female perspective on this show.
I know it. I've also never seen The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, any of the Housewives. I'm the worst woman ever, apparently.
Yeah. Well, if we were to get a female co-host for our show, it'd have to be the worst woman ever. So
That was one of the boxes Ryan had to check off.
That's
Worst
right.
woman ever check.
Yeah.
Milo Ventimiglia mentioned that during the casting, one of the reasons he got the job was because his lip went down. It's a natural lip thing that he has.
Yeah.
I wonder if also the forceps were used when he was born and it damaged the nerves at his face, like Sly.
That's right. His mother knew his son was going to be an actor, so for method acting, she had a drunk doctor deliver
She
him.
requested it.
She said, you got to do what you got to do
Yeah.
to get to the top. It's competitive.
Oh man! And now Milo Ventimiglia's mother is a soothsayer too. That's a little Mama Stallone joke for those who know. She's like a psychic or whatever.
Jackie?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, I can't believe she's still alive. It's insane.
Oh, God. So she's probably like 95?
She's close to 100. She's
Yeah.
nearing 100. I think Stallone will get to 100 before she does. I don't even know how that's going to work, but no, because she's been 100 forever. You know, it's one of those people that she's always been old.
Yeah.
Like, good for her. She's still around. Bless her heart. And boy, her son's 74. That blows my mind. Think about that. Her son is 74. Anyways, okay. We left the scene here where Rocky's reading the paper. It's adorable. He's not on his phone. He's reading the news from the paper to Adrian. Opens the paper. He looks at it, and now he's getting lost in his thoughts. Any guesses what he's thinking about right now?
What am I doing? I have nothing going on in my life. I come here every day, talk to 2 dead people, and I have the chance to like be involved in someone who's living a life and creating these new connections. And why am I not jumping at that? That's I think it's obvious, but I could be wrong. I could be off.
Every time you said, I don't know, all right, I don't know, that's just my opinion. Guess what I did? I deleted that. Because as a podcaster, we don't know anything. That's obvious. What do we know? The whole job of us is just to shoot the shite.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know that it's just funny. Because when you said it, my editing brain went, oh, there you go. I got to edit that one out. It's your opinion. Screw the listener. Just say what you want to say. If they don't like it, they can do their own podcast. And
all right.
Yeah, all right.
I like it.
Okay. Kyle, you're going to say something. I interrupted you.
Well, it's of course unfalsifiable because he's not real. It isn't actually. He could be probably thinking, oh,
he's like, oh, I brought the wrong paper. That's last week's paper.
Yeah. As an aside, the actor in Modern Family who played Al Bundy,
Ed O'Neill.
His name,
Yeah,
Ed O'Neill.
love him.
He reads the same paper in any of his shows, whether it's Married with Children or
That's right.
Modern Family. It's the exact same newspaper.
Do you mean it's the same
Literally
volume,
the same
or is she-
piece of. It's the same physical item. It's like 30-something years old. He still reads it.
Oh my! I didn't know that. That's good.
That's awesome.
In terms of what he's thinking about, my guess is he was just talking about how it's hard to go up the hill and back hurting and all that stuff. And so I'm wondering if he's thinking about where do things go from here? What's it going to be like if I, as an really old man, what does my future look like? Alone. The only one here, Paulie's gone now, Adrian's gone now. I'm starting to fail. Where does this all end? That's what I'd be thinking about if I
know.
were him.
I'm already thinking that. What's the purpose of this life? Well, we're leaving behind our legacy of our podcast. It's out there in the ethos forever, as long as somebody pays for the feed.
Do you have different thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that I know we're going ahead in the movies. We're kind of cheating because we know where the storyline goes. He should also be thinking, why am I talking to two dead people when I have a son?
I don't think he thinks about his son. He's like, oh yeah, I have a son. Yeah, that's right.
Now, everyone's family dynamics are different, and we know that he's got a troubled past. We also know that he didn't have a father figure that we can understand. At least his father figure was absent enough from the Rocky universe screen time. The only time we saw the father was when he said, yeah, those are Rocky's parents, when, on the mirror he was telling Adrian, like, those are my parents, those are my folks. So we know that he was, born. Did we ever find out what happens to his parents? I can't recall.
No, we don't know. We knew his dad went to jail.
Oh, that's what it was. Deleted
No.
scene. The deleted scene.
I don't like that. I would rather just not know. I really dislike this now.
Did you ever know about that deleted scene?
No, I didn't, because there was a term for it. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. But he went to prison. And
The
then
arches. The arches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense. I kind of wish they wouldn't have talked about it at all, because he was using it. I think it was the scene he was trying to connect with steps. But this whole time, it's just been a question mark. Nobody has parents in this movie. Adrian and Paulie don't have parents.
Yeah.
Rocky's parents. Where are his parents? Even little Marie apparently doesn't have parents.
And neither does Rocky Jr. He doesn't have parents.
Yeah, nobody has parents. And I sort of like that it's a mystery. It's
Yes.
in the same way that I didn't like that there was an alternate ending made for Rocky Balboa. No. That's just
Alternate endings aren't canon. When it comes to deleted scenes, that's my philosophy, is that, or you could just, we're talking about alternate universes.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
alternate universe ending, right? But I think that scene with Steps, though, I hear you. I kind of got giddy about it because we got some answers. There's a story here. I want to know what the story is. I want to know what his actual family tree history is.
We know enough about Rocky. We come to our own conclusions based on what we're shown in the first movie about his life leading up to the first Rocky. I wouldn't want to see them go back and create some version of Rocky pre-Rocky
Yeah.
1. No, just leave it alone.
The fact that his dad went to jail doesn't really tell you much, I don't think. It's not like he did life there. I mean, maybe he did. We have no idea, but he could have just done a few years and then split. Or the arches could mean the McDonald's manager executive training program.
And even Rocky thinks it's embarrassing, so he's disowned his
Yeah,
father.
it's just
Yeah. Who knows what he's thinking here? But yeah, I think we're led to believe. It's kind of, not to say obvious, but yeah, he's probably thinking, okay, now what? But he looks happy. He looks content, but he looks also... So the scene now is the classic. So what do you call that? It's not a sky train, but what do you call that?
Well, it's the subway. Most big cities, the subway's only underground in like the city core.
Okay.
But like once you get to the outskirts, it's above ground. So it's called the, I think it's SEPTA. I've ridden it before in Philadelphia. Something like that. It's like something Pennsylvania Transit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so he still has the paper in his hand. So Rocky is now walking towards Mickey's gym, where we just found out earlier in the film he hasn't been there in quite some time, but now he's there today because we're led to believe now during those contemplative thoughts, he was thinking a little bit, you know what, maybe I should just do something fun. Maybe I should do something other than my restaurant and the graveyard. Maybe I should go check out the gym. Maybe the kid's there. Where's the black kid? I don't see the black kid. Oh, is he squeezing his little handball? Do you see that?
Is that a handball? I thought he just had like arthritis or something.
It's the black ball. Was it in Rocky Balboa?
I don't remember it being in Rocky Balboa.
Good question. For our listeners, let us know. I don't recall it either, but I guarantee you this was Sly bringing it on set and it wasn't written in the script.
Yeah, probably.
Great shot there of Rocky and over his shoulder looking at the mighty Mick. Just the flood of emotions he's feeling and we're feeling as an audience as Rocky thinks about his time with Mick and in that gym. How many memorable moments they had in that gym. So Rocky walks in. The first thing he notices, they've changed the place. He's like, whoa, it looks nice and new in here.
So we know that this was willed to Robert, but now all of a sudden we see this guy Pete. It's like his somehow, but there's no mention or explanation of some sort of transfer of ownership, or is Pete just managing it and the Balboas still own it? Like,
I think it's your second one. I think that's how Robert could afford living in Vancouver.
No, you need more than that.
you guys are crushing my dreams of moving to Vancouver. Is it super expensive?
The average house price is over $1 million.
Oh, that's about like Boulder here. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boulder's expensive?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I live in Denver, but Boulder's like a half hour, 45 minutes from here. Yeah.
I would say that he probably sold it. I think if you owned it, you would be more aware of the expenses required to renovate and bring this place up to where it is. Like, he seems to be totally unaware of the fact that it looks different, where if you're an owner, you would have had to fund all that.
Yeah, and
So-
technically it's not his, it was Robert's, and Robert didn't seem to want anything to do with it. But that makes me sad that it's not in the Balboa family, if that's the case. You know?
Was it Roberts as like a plot device? Because otherwise it would have been included in like the foreclosure of all Rocky's stuff.
But that's where we learn about it, isn't it? With Rocky V, where the lawyer says everything was
Yeah.
Yeah.
except for
I
the
guess
gym.
it necessarily had to be that way because they couldn't go after his son. His son could have sold it to pay for college or something. Because I doubt Rocky paid for his college. And I'm guessing he would have had to have a degree to do the job he did.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. If you want to go to Rocky Wiki, it still says that it's owned in the Balboa name.
They're as much of an authority as we are.
How
right?
dare you? Well, we're probably more of an authority.
Yeah.
What the Rocky Wiki is just it takes all the information that the movie and the books provide. That's all. It looks like, according to the movies and the novelizations of the movies, there's no indication that it left ownership of the Balboas. But it doesn't mean it didn't. It was never on film if it did happen. Okay. All right, so Rocky's walking in, looking around, and of course now people are noticing him, of course, because the Pope has walked into the Vatican.
Hey, Rocky. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah.
Hey, Rock, long time no see, brother.
Still here, good. Good to see you. Hey,
Stallion's back. Hey,
it's like a party here, everyone.
Yeah, right. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How you feel?
Good.
What are you making, a comeback?
No.
Hey, Chip.
Hey, Pete, what's up?
Didn't know you were coming back.
This car snake oil salesman guy, he comes over, he sees Rocky walk in. I'm going to believe that the Balboas own the place, but this guy runs it. It's almost like is the owner-operator, but he's not the owner. He's the operator, okay? And because
He does everything.
But sure, but he sees kind of Rocky walk in. He's like, ugh. And then this one guy went up to say hi to Rocky and goes, "Oh, you making a comeback?" Kind of like a little joke. Pete, he tells the guy to bug off so I can talk to Rocky privately.
He is a bit of a slick Rick, this Pete.
He looks like a Pete.
Yeah.
Plus, it's like the goatee gives an impression. in business, if you have a goatee, people will be a little mistrustful of you. And so,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah.
Well, we see here there's a banner back here. Mighty Mick's champion, lightweight heavyweight champion, is Leo Sprino. So he is considered the light heavyweight champion, owned by Mighty Mick's.
He was in the U.S. Olympic team, it will say in just a minute here. And so maybe he won some kind of Golden Glove thing.
Yeah, they showed that scorecard thing already. Previous episode that I think the
Oh,
Mighty
okay.
Mick's.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I was just in the neighborhood. He's done nice here. Place is looking good. New paint, everything. Very
I
good.
do what I can.
Very nice.
Remember my son, Leo?
Of course I do.
Bigger since you last seen him,
Yeah,
huh?
very big.
Rocky.
He does mention the place looks good. Peter's, well, I did what I could. So I wonder if he's saying, with the finances available that you've given me or whatever. But he does mention I did what I could with spruce up the place. And then he mentions his kid real quick. You remember my kid Leo? He's a champion now. And Rocky's, yeah, I remember him. But he barely gives him a glance. Like Rocky does not care about this kid.
It highlights how long it's been since Rocky's been to this gym or even talked to this guy. He says he's a lot bigger now. That implies that he maybe last saw him as like a child or a young teenager or something like that.
Yeah, 7, maybe 10 years. I'm thinking it's a 7-year area. I don't know why 7 years makes sense to me, but it's been like 5 to 7 years since he stepped foot in there.
So I'm going to say a theory now. Rocky's son or Rocky or whatever still owns it, but it's what you call a triple net lease. He just collects the lease payment, and these guys, they take care of all improvements. They set the everything else.
That makes sense.
So maybe he's complaining about Rocky's rent. It's too much or something like that.
Also, I don't know if we knew when we met Leo Sperino earlier that he was Pete's son.
I think it was very briefly mentioned or something. I feel like we didn't talk about it, and I feel like it was either during when I was editing or something, when I was hearing the dialogue again during my edit, where it kind of came up, the son talk came up, like, you're doing a good job, son. I thought it was like, is that just a term of endearment? But I think that is his...
It is his kid.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's yet another father-son duo in this movie in particular.
Yeah. Whoever wrote this film has daddy issues. Oh, Stallone. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he didn't write the film.
Well, the whole movie,
This
the
one,
franchise,
yeah.
the whole franchise has daddy issues. It's crazy.
Yeah. Although I think it's pretty common. There are daddy issues, but I think it's pretty common in boxing for fathers to train or manage or whatever their sons. Like, it must be a family business type sport.
Yeah, Joe Frazier's son, Marvis, I think I had 18 professional fights. He has the distinction, though, of being knocked out by Mike Tyson in 19 seconds.
Oof. That's longer than I'd last, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't fault the guy for it because it was like prime
19
Tyson.
seconds. Yikes.
Like, it was Tyson in, like, before he became champ, but was almost champs. He was in his prime. And Marvis Frazier's style was just like his dad, where you would just kind of rush at you and come at you with intensity, which is the exact wrong style for Mike Tyson. And I guess he said, I don't actually remember the fight at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mike knocked him right out.
Oh, boy.
There's some father-son stuff going on for sure.
I wonder what the daughter-father movie would be. Oh, Showgirls. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. I never saw that. But
I've never seen it either.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Jesse Spano. Were you a fan of Jesse Spano?
I was after Showgirls. I mean, I've never seen it. Kyle, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Elizabeth Berkley, she's pretty. All right, here we go.
He's 17-0. And things are really opening up for us. Leo! Rocky, option's still open if you want to get involved. A little training, a little motivation.
Let me think about it.
Sure, Rocky, sure.
How you doing, kid?
Sorry to meet you, champ.
Yeah, nice to meet you, too. 17-0, very good. Yeah.
Okay, so we're already kind of getting the conflict that's coming up here because Leo's dad, Peter, he's like, hey, the offer's still on the table. So they've obviously had discussions since he's become champion or when he was training to become champion. So we'd say in at least the last half decade, there's been conversations, hey, my son's going into training to be a professional fighter. Rocky, this is your gym. Mighty Mick trained you. It would only make sense if you want to get into the game. We'd love to have you. Why wouldn't they? He's like, oh, yeah, we'll see. And just as he turns him down again, of course, in walks in Adonis. Awkward.
My personality is so different from Adonis's. If I were him and I walked in there, I'd kind of keep a low profile and just kind of wait till the conversation ended. Adonis is just like, Yo, Unk. Or is it-
Sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, it's not that your personality is different. It's just you understand social cues. And oh, man.
We're supposed to fight on the Ricky Collins Club.
Hey,
It got canceled.
You talking to you?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You made it.
Yeah, I just walked by. Here I am.
Okay, awkward. He calls him Unk. Hey, Unk. And just like a little half trot over. And rightfully so, he's excited because he literally, well, and he's not wrong, but Rocky's there because if Adonis never stepped into Philadelphia, Rocky wouldn't be in the gym right now. Let's just be honest. He's there because he got triggered by the idea of seeing the gym again, at least seeing the fighters, and maybe seeing Adonis. I love how Peter goes, you know this guy, or is he talking to you? And Rocky's like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does his son kind of look like a Neanderthal?
Well, it's
shot
frozen on a specific. He does. He kind of does. Yeah, he sort of does. He's about to give a very evil look to his dad. Like they're about to look at each other like, what is this?
You can already see in their faces, they're already saying to themselves, like, how dare Rocky have other people in his life? How dare he have other opportunities to be with other people? And to be fair to Rocky, yeah, there is more of a connection with Apollo's son than there is with these two numbnuts.
But they don't know that yet.
Yeah. I don't really blame them that much. This guy's friends with Rocky.
He thinks he's friends with, I hear what you're saying, but
must have
Rocky,
some sort of relationship. If he's leasing the gym from him, if he picked him to do it, they got to have something.
I think it's purely business. I don't think Rocky's barely looked at this guy in the eyes.
That's true. I mean, and originally, even when he comes back and he was like, hey, are you sure you don't want to change your mind? You know, be in the corner, blah, blah. You see him kind of scheming like you want Rocky because he's Rocky, because that's going to be a big draw. You'll make more money. Kyle does have a point. This Pete and his son are like, yeah, we've asked you a couple of times, and there's actually a bit of a, however you want to describe the relationship, there is some sort of a connection between them. Like, who's this new kid? You say no to us, but who's this guy? Seemingly, from their perspective, in off the street.
Their animosity makes sense. We see it on screen very easily. Everyone, you can have a life outside of somebody else's life, I guess is what I'm saying. They see business opportunities slipping.
Mm-hmm. How you know Hollywood?
We met at the restaurant.
That's it.
Okay, so let's even make it worse.
Oh my gosh. Rocky, he's a terrible liar. That's it. What did that remind you of?
It reminds me of kind of a relationship thing. If you're dating someone, or you might be starting to date someone, but then you're not really coming out with it yet. You're like, yeah, we're just friends.
From a prior movie.
It's killing me, and you're going to say it, and I'm going to be mad at myself for not knowing.
So I watched this scene before we started recording. I didn't notice it at first, but I was like, God, his lying is so bad. What is that from? What is that from? It reminded me of in Rocky 2, when Mickey, again, they're at the top of a staircase in the scene, where Mickey is doing the eye test with his finger. And he does it on the one side, and he's like, there's the little guy. And then Mickey's like, great, great, great. Let's try the other eye.
Let's try the other lamp, shall we?
Yeah.
I love that.
And Rocky has to lie because he doesn't see it. And so he says, yep, there it is. I see it. And the way he says it is just like he said in this scene. Like,
nice.
Yep, that's it.
If it's not that scene, that's a classic Rocky-ism, the way he moves there. Yeah, Stallone's acting in this film, it rightfully so, got the Golden Globe and Oscar nomination. It's an incredible acting job. It really revitalized not only his career, but showing everyone, like, yeah, this character is that amazing of a character that at the 8th film we could still be excited by it. Sorry, 7th film we could still be excited by it. But what's made this worse, though, is now they seem very friendly and like, yeah, we just met like 2 days ago.
Yeah, he ate at my restaurant. Now I want to take him on and train him. Also, I think Rocky could have been more direct with this guy about just not being interested. Because, you know, when that guy's, oh, the opportunity's still open to train my son, he's like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want to, just say you don't want to. Yeah, just be like, I'm not interested in doing fighting stuff right now. Which it would be hard to explain now if you had to train Adonis.
Or you could just say, I am actually interested in working with somebody, but I'm starting at the bottom. You know, your son's already successful.
Yeah, that would have been a good lie.
Okay, right. Okay. You need anything, You let me know.
Okay. Good luck, kid. Seriously.
Thanks.
17-0. Kid's got a future.
That Peter actor, I don't know his name, but he does a great job. I love the way he talks, his enunciation of his words, and he's got a very like that mafia, Sopranos type dialect. The way he talks. Okay, Rock, if you need anything, just let me know.
In the way he was surprised when Adonis came up, I thought that was really realistic. I could see someone having that exact reaction.
And Rock is uncomfortable. 17-0. That kid's got a good future.
Now it's going to be like awkward in the gym when he's training now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be for me if I'm Rocky. I'd be like, sorry. Like I hate upsetting people.
Yeah, he hates confrontation, but there is a. I'm sure you can Google this, and I've actually have read articles on this. The power to say no, like the ability to say no to something. There's how to say no when someone asks you, do you want to go out tonight, or do you want to come to my party, or do you want to help me move, or whatever it might be, or do you want to join a multi-level marketing scheme, wherever it might be. There's ways you can say no without being hurtful, and it's actually a very helpful guide. I'm just saying, for me, I've had a hard time saying no through my life, and it's gotten me in trouble. Ironically, I take the suffering by not saying, no, you know what, no, that's something I don't want to do. And had Rocky in that moment said, you know what, just to avoid any confusion in the future, I don't want to train your son. I am looking for other opportunities, but thank you for thinking of me.
It is something that typically comes with age. So they say, I mean, I wouldn't know anything about that, obviously, but, they say that.
They say that.
But Rocky, he's 70, so he should feel more confident just stating what he wants.
But even as I've gotten older, especially these last 5 years, my mid 40s, I'm starting to care less and less. Not what I hate the term what people think, but you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
I'm not in control of your feelings. How you respond to how I live. As I get older, I realize it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people, even what they think of me. So if you can learn this, folks, anyone listening under 40, the sooner you get to, you know what? It doesn't matter what somebody thinks, as long as you're not being hurtful. But you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, just live your life and forget what people think and say no when you want to say no.
Well, I was just going to say, all right, Mickey. Those are wise Mickey words.
I want to take what I've got and give it to you, Kyle and Katie. Yeah.
Well, Mickey would be like, I don't want to train your kid. Get out.
Hey, Ryan, enough with this Buddha stuff. Oh, man.
We just keep going off on tangents.
Okay. I don't think Kyle heard that.
I said, sorry, we just keep going off on tangents.
Now, Katie, yes or no, did you say you listened to the show before you came on?
Yes, but I feel like now that with 3 people, I don't know. Again, God, I got to quit it now with the I don't know. I always found it really, I liked it, but I don't know if everyone, I'm sure people do. It's the show.
Actually, I just listened to a podcast recently, because I listened to other podcasts. It's interesting hearing other podcasters talk about their shows, the things they like about it, their own criticisms of themselves. And one advice from a podcaster that I quite admire, he said that don't worry about, as an artist, and we're not artists, but as a creator, just create. And
you can't please everyone.
No.
So, yeah.
We certainly don't, anybody. But, no, in fact, when the show first started, Ruben and I, we got emails and criticism from people saying we go off on tangents or whatever. But it's not like our tangents are, we're talking Rocky, but all of a sudden we're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe for half an hour.
Yeah.
That's a tangent that, yes, I could see listeners saying, go back. But we keep it within the Rocky talk, I think, very well.
True.
But people also are interested a little bit of just how we think about life, and to a degree, they do listen to the personalities in the show. If people just wanted a commentary on the movie, they can just watch the movie and think about it for themselves. Like, at the end of the day, they can just literally watch the movie and say, these are my thoughts on the film. And then they get to hear everything they want to hear. Like, you will agree with every point you've made. Congratulations. The whole idea of a podcast is the discussion, and it brings up other things that we talk about. So don't feel bad. Trust me, if anyone's ruining the show, it's me.
No.
I say that seriously. When I told this to Katie, Kyle, when you were offline before you joined, that when I do edit, I edit the most me. Cutting out those chunks of talk, it's actually my
Everybody is their own worst critic.
I guess so.
I think that's probably why.
Maybe why a star of a film should never be the editor. Either they'll cut out too much or they'll be afraid to cut out anything. There's two types of editors, yeah.
You just answered your question about why does Stallone remove so much from his movies. Maybe that's why.
Maybe he's too critical of his own performances, yeah. Yeah, with Stallone and I, we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Basically the same person.
We're basically the same person. Same wealth, stature, physical fitness. Yeah.
You've both been in low-budget 70s porno movies.
Well, mine was mid-'80s, but yeah, it's true. Wait, I would have been 12.
Yeah, you would.
All right, okay, mid-'90s, all right. No, I would have been 18. That would have been perfect. 1994, beautiful age. Oh, go back to when I was 18 again. If I knew now, when I what I knew. No, Kyle, we've talked about this. Imagine knowing what you know now go back when you're 18.
Just in generalities, right? Life lessons, not like what stocks are going to go up. Type of stuff.
No, not even that kind of stuff. Just how to be.
Well, you know the saying, youth is wasted on the young, right?
Yeah.
It's such a true saying. This world sucks.
True.
Ugh.
It really does.
It doesn't make sense.
Let's Benjamin Button it up.
Yeah, if I look like Brad Pitt, that'd be fine, but yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is our last little scene here.
Tough. Gotta talk to you a minute.
Oh, shit. I just noticed something.
Yeah.
Is that thing right behind Adonis, the old cover of Mighty Mix there, or is that a picture of it?
It looks like it.
Because remember they changed the outside thing that was falling apart?
Yeah, they changed the sign.
Did they take it and put it on the wall now? Is that it on the wall?
Oh, yeah, good catch. Good catch. That is the old Mighty Mix design there.
That's cool. He kept it.
Is that Mickey with his stocking cap on?
No, it's just a. it might be, or
doesn't it look like it?
It might be his.
His
I can't
signature.
Say it.
Yamaka.
No, I was gonna say the haircut. You can't say the.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, good catch, Kyle. I totally missed that.
That's a great catch.
That's the first time I saw that. I haven't watched this movie that often.
So Rocky wants to go talk to Adonis, of course. Do you mind leaving so I could talk to my wife privately? Or secretly? Yeah. Was it secretly?
Yeah, secretly. Yeah, secretly.
I love that.
No, I don't really know what I'm doing here because I got other plans in my life and this wasn't part of it.
What other plans? What other plans does he have for his life?
Thinking, I have a grave to visit
every day.
A lot. So I might have to leave your training for several hours, doing really important parts.
I got to feed my turtles, Cuff and Link, see? I got them at that pet store, see?
I want to start a hashtag that's like free Cuff and Link from there.
Yeah, no kidding. Give them a bigger bowl.
Prison or whatever.
Oh, man.
Your father was special. I'll tell you the truth, I don't know if you're special. Only you're going to know that when the time is right. And it ain't going to come overnight. You're going to take a beat, you're going to take this, you're going to get knocked down, you're going to get up, and you're going to see if you got the right thing. But you got to work hard. I swear to God, if you're not going to do it, I'm out.
Whoa, so Adonis must be very excited right at this moment. Because Rocky just doesn't really, he leads into it very weird. He kind of like says, boxing is hard, you're going to get hit, you're going to get knocked down. Your father was great and special. I don't know if you're special, only you can know that. You got to work hard. So if you don't work hard, I'm out. He's like, whoa. You've accepted my offer?
I didn't know you were in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It always takes like a little bit of, I think he was convinced by that whole Pete and Leo conversation. He felt, I think it even kind of irked him. It gave off a very bad vibe. And Rocky always needs like something like that to convince him, it seems, to do something.
I wonder if he's protecting him from Pete too.
Yeah.
Why is he there though?
He says he doesn't know.
Would he be there if he was going to say no? Or if he didn't decide?
Imagine if he wanted,
so you're saying he did make the decision at the gravesite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would have showed up otherwise. I don't know if he would have showed up to say no. Maybe.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not. I'm right.
I think you're right. Yeah.
See, this is why I didn't want to tell you guys what your tics are or your quirks are when I edit, because now that's what you keep thinking every time you say it. Oh, I said it again. I will not reveal any more. There's more. Kyle, you
Now
have
I'm
them.
going to be like trying to sleep. I'm like, why am I text?
Well, I tell you what, for our avid Patreon listeners, they will know. Yeah, so if you could tell me what Kyle always does. I'm just joking.
Fuck, every punch I ever thrown has been on my own. Nobody showed me how to do this. I'm ready.
Boy, Adonis, you're such a weird sell on yourself. Rocky has taken your offer to do this. Great. Rocky says you got to work hard. If you don't work hard, I'm out. But then Adonis's response is, it should have been, hey, that's fantastic. What an honor. What a thrill. This is amazing. You're actually doing that which I requested this. So instead of saying thank you for accepting my request, let's work together. I promise I'll work my hardest. I promise. He says, every punch I've ever thrown was my own. Okay, are you...
I follow him.
Okay.
It has been up till now.
Well, I think what he's saying is, if you're not working hard, it means you're unmotivated, essentially, right?
Okay.
Like you're lazy, you're unmotivated. So
he's independent.
He's saying, look, I've been working at this on my own without anyone prodding me or making me do this. Like, I'm self-motivated. I've come all the way here. He hasn't said this part, but he's like, I've come all the way here.
He hasn't said anything.
The hell out of you.
You're projecting. You're 100% projecting. Because
no. If he says I've done everything on my own, he's saying I'm self-motivated.
Well, he is, but Rocky's point, I think, is like, all right, well, you've done an all right. You've gotten yourself here, but you have no idea what it takes to do this for real.
Yeah, well, maybe. I think you're both right. I agree, Kyle, though, that's what's being... How should I say this? I hear you, and I believe you're right. Like, it makes sense, because we know that Adonis is not a complete just a-hole. I get it, and I'm not trying to do this to him. I guess I'm just listening to the words he's saying. Rocky has literally said, hey, I'm going to train you. Like, that's fantastic. And Adonis' response is, again... Well, here's an example. My 13-year-old son today... he's been camping in the backyard with a tent and sleeping bag all summer. But today, before
cute.
Yeah,
That's
he's been
cute.
so. But today was cleanup day. It's like, okay, summer's pretty much over. We're school routine's kicking in this Monday. It's time to tear down your tent. So I said, I'll help you. And so I was doing pretty much all the work. And the moment I asked him to help, his response was like not positive. Okay. I'm like, hey. I'm actually giving you all my knowledge, all my help, and you asked for help, and I'm giving to you. Your response is not thankful or great. Like, this was literally like 5 hours ago. So I guess there's a part of me sees him as a kid to a dad figure saying, hey, you asked me for help. I'm giving it to you. And your response is like, hey, man, I set the tent up on my own. That's what I hear here. Like, yeah, okay, but I'm helping you tear it down. Like, be a little bit gracious. Maybe it's coming up because we paused it early. Maybe it's coming up.
He should have thanked Rocky and showed gratitude and appreciation. He's trying to sell to Rocky and reassure him. He said at the end, I'm ready.
Okay. I guess I would have prefaced this saying, thank you, champ. Didn't get here by sitting on my hands. I got here by every punch was my own. I'm going to give it all with you as well. I don't know.
He doesn't show Rocky a ton of respect, really. Even in the restaurant, he's phone still works, you don't call. Like there's a bit of animosity almost, but he also admiration. Like it's a weird mix.
Well, he's very arrogant, as was Apollo. It's just such a contrast of personality between Balboas and Creeds.
Yeah.
Everybody's been a jerk to think about it. Like Apollo was arrogant, but he kind of came around after he was humbled. But then Clubber Lang was arrogant. Drago was arrogant. Tommy Gunn was arrogant. Even Tarver was arrogant. Poor Rocky can't have a buddy boxer. Like I guess the closest friend was Apollo, but even Apollo was kind of.
Oh yeah, because Apollo, or like in 4, when Rocky was like, "Hey, are you sure about this? Like we don't know anything about this guy," and Apollo was like, "Are you kidding? I could eat nails, and I'm in the best shape of my life." Like, and Rocky was trying to bring him down to reality a little bit, and he was not having it at all.
In athletics, it seems though the people who really are arrogant and believe in themselves tend to do better. There are some humble athletes. They seem to be in the minority. It seems like that Rocky. Arrogance is kind of a prerequisite to.
And that would probably explain my lack of sporting ability. Because I'm not competitive. I don't have that competitive streak. I admit, I just don't compete. My life, it doesn't have anything to do with anyone else's life. I don't know.
I'm with you, Ryan, but like all those personality tests that you can take, tell you like which field you should go into, or
Right.
you'll given this personality you might excel in this field or whatever. It's always like people with this like really, I don't know if I want to say arrogant, but extreme self-confidence and competitiveness are athletes and CEOs and salespeople.
Sure.
And yeah, so it's like a certain personality. So when Kyle brought, that was a good point that you brought up about most athletes do have that super
true.
ego, so to speak.
Kyle, you tend towards that, I think. You're very confident in that way.
Oh, I no, not especially. I don't know. I can be and I can't be, but I'm not competitive. My wife is super competitive, and it bothers her that I just don't care. Like if we play a board game or something and I lose, I'm just like, nah, whatever. But she'll be like, I have to give her like 20 minutes to like cool down if she loses at a game.
What does she do for a living? Do you mind my asking?
Well, she's mostly at home with the kids right now, but she does her own business. She helps women with like breastfeeding and stuff like that. And
Okay, so an
baby
entrepreneur.
yeah.
Well, I can see that then.
Yeah. Like she
Yeah,
has the
the
confidence that
competitive-
way, where
yeah.
like she wants to. She likes to teach people things a lot, and I think you have to have a lot of confidence to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that she did that. Wow. I'm learning things too.
Come on, let's do this.
Oh, that's the end of the scene.
Step into my office.
Okay, of course we'll stop it there because the next scene sequence is kind of an early montage-ish type thing. It's 40 minutes into the film, and we have Rocky says, "Step into my office," and we're gonna get to see some
Just
fun little.
chasing.
Yeah, it's a good tease. We got the chicken chasing.
Katie, did you see my recreation of the chicken chasing?
No, where was this posted?
Well, it's on
I think
Facebook.
Ryan posted it on Twitter and Facebook, but yeah, I found someone with chickens. I chased one for the podcast.
Well, I hope you were very nice to the chicken. I have a friend who has chickens too. Like you can have them in town in Denver. So a lot of people have them.
I think Kyle broke the neck right after he caught it. I think that's what
No, I missed it. I need to find this.
I'll find it. I'll find it
okay.
on our video section. I'll tag you in it.
Okay. That's so. How did it go?
Don't spoil it.
Okay.
She's
all
gonna
right, I'll
watch
have
it.
to watch it. Okay.
I added a little spice to it at the end, a fun little thing, but I won't spoil it for you.
Yeah, Ryan did some editing to the video.
I can't leave well enough alone. I got to tamper with everything.
My next thing is, because my wife's family are farmers and one of them does have a cattle, I'm going to try and see if I can punch some meat or something like that. That's my next project for the podcast.
That's awesome.
I don't know how awesome that is, but
Oh yeah, she's a vegetarian, by the way.
vegan, so even worse.
Oh, you're a vegan.
Even worse. I like
Wow.
I will. On that note,
Punch it though.
no. On that note, though, well, actually, people ask me, they're like, "How do you like Rocky?" Because people like to ask me that question because he does that. On that note, this made me think of. I was talking to the podcast, Ryan, when you did your crossover episode with Craig and Doug on Escape Plan with Arnold. You were talking about the scene where I don't know. I think Stallone. Oh, they purposely try to get in a fight so that he can get put in lockup, and Arnold's line is something like, "You hit or you punch like a vegetarian."
Oh yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I didn't know if you guys knew or not, because you didn't say it in the episode. Arnold is vegan,
Oh.
so that was
Is
a little
he's
nod.
vegan?
hmm
Huh.
Yeah, that was sort of a joke to his
Sure.
veganism as well.
Yeah.
And-
I think Arnold's got a
yeah.
great sense of humor, so I can
Yeah.
see him poking fun at himself for that's funny.
So I guess Katie's not doing the egg drinking challenge then.
No, and I don't think anyone should. How does someone not get sick by that?
I did it. There's also
you?
a video of me drinking eggs for the podcast as well.
I will not be partaking in that.
I did it while drunk. I don't know.
That probably helps.
Yeah, you were a little bit. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I remember that. How do you guys think we did for our male female video?
Well, we're probably like going way slower through Creed than you had probably.
I don't know. I think this would have been almost a natural stop. I think if it was just me and Kyle, we might have done the training sequence, but we definitely I try to stop at the natural areas to stop, like not a mid scene. So if it wasn't the scene we stopped it on just now, it would probably be after the little training montage. But it's fine. We're in no timeline but our own.
Well, how do you feel about it, Ryan? Is 3 a crowd? You know what I mean?
When it comes to male, female, sometimes it can get a little bit.
Jesus Christ.
This isn't the Three's Company you had in mind.
Kyle, forever the white knight. Always defending the virtue of the show.
I love pervy jokes. I just don't. I'm scared because I don't know what you're like, Katie.
No worries at all on that front, Kyle. In fact, I have to remind myself to try not to be a potty mouth on the podcast, to try and keep it PG-13. So.
Oh, Ryan edits that out.
Yeah.
Because there's some where I really start swearing a lot.
Yeah. So, Katie, for the Patreon live feed video, that's kind of what people are paying for. So you could be a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, don't edit yourself for that. I'll worry about the edit for the iTunes release. Don't worry.
We've had all male threesomes before on
That's
the
true.
podcast. When I first started as a guest host, it was you and Ruben and I.
You've been great, Katie. No, you have a great... And that was actually one of the first questions I actually asked Katie, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, was actually just... Take it for what it means, listener. I just said, have you been to any recent protests? That's all I said. And what I meant
forgot that's how you said it.
And what I meant by that, not anywhere where you stand, but it's just that if you had been, whatever side, I didn't ask what side. I didn't ask what side that protest is on. I'm just saying, we're just here to have fun. Take it for what that is. But it meant something to me that you're like, and the fact that you laughed at the question is like, okay, good. All right, she gets what I'm saying. Okay.
And I would consider myself somewhat thick-skinned, Kyle, so I can.
Okay.
I can. I think I can take a joke.
Are your sisters married?
Yes.
But we talked about you need no man though. You need no man.
No, I'm like Bianca, I guess. No.
That's right. Are you deaf?
No. Yeah, actually. Oh my God, that's funny that you say that. I legit think I don't hear very well.
Wow.
Yeah.
What makes you think you don't hear very well?
I have to ask people to repeat themselves a lot.
I said that in a really low tone to see if you'd hear it, but I guess you did. So
I did.
How's your singing voice? What was that song that Bianca does again? Dip, dip.
I forget. Yeah, I don't know. I forget it already.
Okay. Well, you've been great, Katie. Kyle, you've been great as always. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Oh, if you want to send us an email, gtdwithrr@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. Oh, we forgot to do who's following Kyle on Twitter.
You know what? I don't even have my Twitter because I got a new phone, and then I logged into Twitter, and it was like one of my other Twitter things, and I haven't bothered trying to find.
Okay, well, let me just quickly, because now, Katie, you from our last recording, you joined Twitter. This is important. You joined Twitter. And you already catched up to Kyle.
Oh, shit, I'll have to follow you.
I followed you, Kyle.
I haven't been on Twitter.
I'm just giving you a hard time. No, I am giving you a hard time. Because like Facebook's my primary, like that's where like my friends are and where I post things. So, I think it'll take a minute for me to get the hang of Twitter. And
okay, so we got two segments now. Who's following Katie and who's following Kyle? First, we'll do who's following Katie. She's got 21 followers now after a week. Not too bad. A lot of the listeners, I think the majority of them
are. All except for like maybe one. One is an actual friend.
Is that Patrick Pasinski?
Yes.
Okay.
That's an actual friend.
Buffalo Paz.
Have you gotten French women who have accosted you yet?
No, but I did see somebody. That must be a thing because there was another listener who posted something about it. I hope she's a real person and not just like a fake, trying to sell Russian dates or something like that. I don't know.
All right, so I want to give a shout out to your followers. We've got Trevor, Craig, of course, from the Slycast, Com Quinn, Doug from Rocky Minute, The Pretender movie is following you. Chester Copperpot, he's been following the show since the beginning. Shout out to Chester. Simcha Seeker, GD has Ozzy Greg. He's also Ozzy Greg, by the way, is not the other Greg or Greg the First, by the way. He's Ozzy Greg. He's been following the show since the beginning, so we know he's a listener. Liam Dempsey from the Spotlight podcast, and they're following you as well. Andy V, big supporter of the show. He gives me all the pirated movies for my crossover episodes. Hector Canales is following you. The Wrestler Patrick's following you. That's Socks Pat 82. Arcade Adriano's following you. Of course, he runs the UK Attack podcast. Jason Pug 1988. Lawrence Drew. Jacko 25. And that's it. Okay. So we'll give those guys a shout out. So of course, Katie, next week we'll see who else is following you. And then Kyle, I think you got a new follower.
You're trying to log in now.
Okay, you got 35 followers now. I think Katie's going to pass you one day. So you got Katie following you now. Mm-hmm. Paul Schreiber, our new Patreon. He's following. So double shout out to Paul. He's following Kyle on Twitter. Now, Paul, you got to follow Katie on Twitter. How dare you? Who's Driba? This person, I love it. This person's a fake account or what? So Driba is sorry, he's from Gambia, West Africa, and he's looking for good and honest friends and know more about each other's country and nature. Kyle, have you reached back to Jariba?
I have. I'm like an old man with technology.
We're friends. I might as well be Rocky.
So again,
I'm like on the wrong Twitter, like something like an old Twitter I set up, and now like I had to create a new one when Ryan told me to do it.
How did this guy find you, Jariba? Anyways, he's following you, Kyle. He's from Gambia, West Africa. He wants an honest friend, so don't lie to him. He wants to know more about Canada and nature. Yeah, and there you go. That's the only new followers is Katie, of course, Paul Schreiber, and Jariba from West Africa. I want to know more about Jariba. Jariba, if you're listening to the show.
Jariba and I are going to become good pals. After I go to France to marry Marie.
Yeah. Remember when I ragged on Seiko there, Kyle?
What's that?
Seiko? Remember when I ragged on Seiko?
No, I don't.
Following you on Twitter and he didn't follow me? Well, he got on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he messaged me and he says, I didn't know you were on Twitter, man. Just so you know, Seagull's still not following me.
He needs to be more direct with you. Tell you he doesn't want to follow you on Twitter.
You guys are awesome. Truly, thanks, everyone. Thank you for listening. Boy, I guess we got to take turns. Who takes us out? Katie did last time. Kyle, do you want to take us out?
Turn.